is also starting to kind of take shape. Out of the 14 teams, apparently the Big Ten and the SEC are expecting to get 3 teams in, and I'm not just saying, hey, maybe each year we'll get 3 in. Automatic 3 teams in from both the Big Ten and the SEC, which would be 6 of the 14. It's pretty amazing. And they want, and the other aspect too is that they're expecting to get a bye for the champions of each league into the second round, or whatever you would call after the first round. It would be a second round. So the ACC champions, the Big 12 champions, they would not get that sort of access to an automatic bye, and I don't think they would get a bye. So, I mean, it just kind of it keeps confirming what we've really started to know for a long time now, that there is no Power 4. There is a Power 2, then there are 2 other conferences that are underneath the top 2, and then everybody else filters in after that.
Do you put Notre Dame in the Power 2, or do you put them in, are they their own? Like, I kind of add them with the Power 2. Like,
yeah. That always kind of, I mean, that's always a little fly in the ointment. What do you do with Notre Dame?
If they win 10, I think their magic number, if there's 12 games, Phil, with no, if they don't have a tie-in to a conference champion. So, you're right. It is kind of fly in the ointment. But I think if an SEC team wins 10 games, I think if Notre Dame wins 10 games, and I think if a Big Ten team, like you said, any of that division, if you're in that division and you can get to 10, I think that's the magic number. What's the magic number for the NCAA tournament? 22, 24?
And I used to think it was 20, but it's not. It hadn't been for a long time.
Yeah.
24, that sounds about right.
Right, like if you because in the Premier League, if you get to 40 points, you avoid relegation. That's kind of, but sometimes 36 will get you there. Sometimes 30, but that's kind of, so the number I think is 10. I think if you're an SEC team and you can win 10, you'll be in that playoff 12.
That's an interesting way to look at it too. I think in college baseball we usually look at 40 as a magic number. You know, if you get to 40 wins in an SEC team, they're going to make it. They're going to get a bid. I mean, we've seen other teams get bids in the high 30s, but 40 is not automatic. It just kind of feels like it. And with basketball, we've always had those numbers. For years, it was 20. Now, like you're saying, 24. And we've never felt that way about football because we've never had a playoff that expanded like this. I don't know what you do with Notre Dame at that point. They already are in a position where these next 2 years, they cannot get a bye. They will always have to play a first-round game if they do get a bid to this 12-team playoff. But I don't know what it would do moving forward. You know, I mean, they're still going to play 6 ACC teams every year, so maybe in the committee's eyes, they're going to be viewed as more like an ACC team. Though they'll still play, I guess they'll play Southern California. They might play a couple other Big Ten schools. Who knows? Along with the service academies. But it just, I mean, we just keep seeing evidence that college sports, well, when they say it just means more, I mean, the SEC is really just kind of putting that into practice now, that the games in the SEC mean more than the games in the Big 12 or the ACC. And, man, I mean, you had it right there in front of you this last year. The evidence is there that an undefeated conference champion in Florida State didn't get a bid to the 4. Now, we know the reasons why, and it made sense why. In this case, they would get a bid, but they wouldn't be viewed as an SEC or a Big Ten team. Even if Florida, in this case, depending on what the schedules look like, let's just take the example of Florida State. They still will play against Florida on an annual basis. And they've scheduled hard, man. They had LSU this year and Florida. They went 2-0 against SEC teams with national championships in recent memory. Let's say that in the near future, Florida somehow gets really good again. Maybe it doesn't happen under Billy Napier, but we'd be naive to think that Florida can't get back to a really good level of playing football, LSU as well. So let's say that Florida State does end up with an undefeated season, beat the crap out of a couple of good SEC teams, undefeated, but they wouldn't get an automatic bye to that second round because they're not an SEC team or they're not a Big Ten team in that case. You know what this does? This also, in the eyes of the schools that view themselves as blue bloods in football that are not in those 2 big leagues, it's going to accelerate their efforts to get out of whatever league they're in. I mean, this just helps nudge Clemson, Florida State, probably Miami.
Why
I don't
is
know what
the
Big 12 schools I view, but it's going to nudge them farther out of at least the efforts they're already trying to do, which is get the heck out of the ACC.
Yeah, we had leap year yesterday, and you were talking about leaps. Texas leaping over Georgia to get into the Final Four playoff last year was a pretty good leap. Why is the ACC being so devalued? You just brought up a great point. Florida State beats 2 SEC squads, goes undefeated, and the committee's just like, whatever, y'all are in the ACC. Why? I don't understand. To me, the devaluation of the ACC.
Think about it. In this case, the committee, it's taken out of the committee's hands. That has nothing to do with it. It's a power play. It is a power play by the SEC and the Big Ten to say that our seasons mean more than the seasons that those two conferences play. That's exactly what that's saying. It takes the human element out of it because the committee has nothing to do with who gets a bye. It's just, you're the champion of the SEC, move on. You're the champion of the Big Ten, move on. And oh, by the way, there's 2 more automatic qualifiers from each of those leagues, which I don't know how you figure it out. That's what the committee would be tasked with. But it just goes to show, for years we called them the Power Five. Now, like maybe for a couple of months or something, we can call it Power Four, because once we get into this 12-team playoff, it is so obvious there are no Power Four conferences. There's 2 major leagues, there's 2 mid-major leagues in college football, and then there's everybody else, which apparently we're still going to be calling Division I, even though we know that these schools are playing a completely different sport. It's a power play is what it all comes down to. And it's nothing like I would have expected. But, hey, that's what we got right here in college football. And as every time that this board of trustees meets, more rumors come out about it, which just continues to prove that they used to be equal partners. They're not equal partners. Just look at the way their other business partners look at that. ESPN works with all of these leagues, maybe not the Big Ten any more, but who makes where do they pay the most money to? They pay it to the SEC. Just look at the dollar figures for both of the big leagues that are raking it in hand over fist from the television networks, and they're making so much more money than the other leagues that we're not even talking about being at the same level. Halftime on a Friday. We get the Golden Hour number 3, Neil Atkinson from Ben Sarrazin and James Teague from the Teague Law Firm to talk some Arkansas baseball. Hour 2, Aaron Torres stops by halftime in just a moment, and we will be right back.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
1.9% financing for up to 72 months on America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150 at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. All of that, and then pair it with matching down payments. It's the time to buy a new truck.
Yes, it definitely is. Everybody's saying don't buy, interest rates are too high. That is just not the case at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. Get your rebates, get your discounts. Let us match your down payment up to $2,500, and let us get you rolling in a new F-150 at 72 months at 1.9% financing.
We're talking about saving thousands of dollars over what the bank can loan you money for or anyone else at 1.9%.
Yes, and all these other brands out there advertising 72 months at 3.9, 4.9. Hey, you got the #1 selling truck at 72 months at 1.9% financing.
Plus, get more for your trade, and Harry Robinson never, ever charges over sticker price.
Negative. Come down here. This is where you want to buy your new Ford.
Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. Matching down payments up to $2,500, 1.9% financing up to 72 months, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Sallisaw.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You tell me I can't take this shit no more, baby. How does it feel every time I let you down? You tell me I can't take this shit no more, baby. How does it feel every time I let you down?
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I said to the McClarty Daniel hotline on a Friday morning, always appreciate Aaron Torres' time from the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast, Fox Sports Media, and, of course, Halftime every Friday. What's up, Aaron? How you doing?
Fellas, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Excited about – well, we would have been excited about Arkansas, Kentucky on a Saturday afternoon on CBS in just about any other year. I have a feeling that mostly it's Kentucky fans that are excited about that game now.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, there's nothing else to say. We've been over it time and time again. I feel bad for the fans more than anything. I mean, listen, I feel bad for players. I feel bad for the coaching staff. Nobody anticipated this was how this season was going to go. But it doesn't change the fact that it is disappointing that you just can't get momentum. You know, I remember talking to you guys last week. I think it was off the A&M win where you look at the schedule and you say, okay, you really have a little stretch here where you can get some momentum going into the SEC tournament. You don't want to get too excited. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. But you could see the path to getting some momentum. And then, obviously, we know what happened the other night against Vanderbilt. And so, you know, it's just, listen, I'm not making excuses. But when you bring in 7, 8, 9 new guys every year, it's not going to click every year. Listen, Kentucky's missed the NCAA tournament. Duke missed the NCAA tournament a few years ago. Carolina went from number 1 in the country to missing the tournament last year. This isn't an excuse. It isn't to say that major change doesn't need to be made in the offseason, but it is to say, like, unfortunately, sometimes you're just going to have years like this, and it obviously doesn't help. You've had off the court drama with Devo. You've had on the court injuries with Trevin Brazile and Tremont Mark, and one guy's in and then one guy's out, and it's been frustrating even as an outsider. So I even though I'm not saying I can understand what Arkansas fans have been through, I do sympathize because I know it hasn't been easy to watch.
Well, there are some good games in the SEC this weekend, and whichever way you want to take this with this Tennessee-Alabama game, is this game kind of possibly for a number 1 seed type of game? If Tennessee goes into Alabama and gets a victory, could you see them having one of those 4 number 1 seeds in the tournament?
Yeah, it's funny, man. I was on in Knoxville yesterday. They asked me this exact question. What I did tell them is if you go 3-0 down this stretch, and for people who don't know, Tennessee plays at Alabama this week, at South Carolina, Kentucky at home. All 3 teams will not only be in the top 25, frankly, they'll probably be in the top 15, barring something surprising. If you go 3-0, or if you go 2-1 and win the SEC tournament, I find it hard to believe that Tennessee would not be the 4th number 1 seed, and it's for a few reasons. Arizona. Listen, Jimmy Dykes said it on the Tennessee-Auburn game the other day. Arizona's a great program. But the Pac-12 isn't good this year. I mean, the Pac-12 might be a 2-bid league, and it's worth noting that the only other team that they locked to make the NCAA tournament out of the Pac-12, Washington State, Arizona has lost to twice this year. And so you factor that in. You add in that it's not like Tennessee didn't play really good competition. It's not like their losses aren't really good. At Carolina, Purdue on a neutral court, Kansas on a neutral court. I mean, these are as good a losses as you can have, and I know nobody wants to lose. So I think if you win the SEC tournament, I think if you go 2-1 down the stretch, you're probably there. Now, the other thing I will say, and I said this in Knoxville, getting the number 1 seed is great, but you also have to factor in the most important thing for any team is the pathway. And I said this to them. I said, do you want to be the number 1 seed in the West, but you got to play Arizona at Staples Center? And I've been to Arizona games at the Staples Center. They'll be 95%, U of A fans there. So these are all things that you have to factor in. But to directly answer your question, Matt, yes, I believe they would get the 4th number 1 seed if they went out.
Okay, so then what about the other 3 number 1 seeds? Are they really already spoken for? Because Houston, Purdue, and UConn are kind of just like, at least record-wise and resume-wise, they're head and shoulders above everybody else. Is there anything that could knock either of these teams out of a number 1 seed, save for losing the last 3 of the regular season, which is not going to happen?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the resumes. If Tennessee wins out and Arizona wins out and, UConn loses two of their final 3 and in the first round, yeah, Phil, there's certainly things that can happen. I will say, I'll admit I haven't looked at all the schedules, but UConn does have to go. They close this weekend against Seton Hall. Seton Hall beat them in the first meeting, and they play at Marquette at Providence to close the regular season. So, it's not as though they have a cakewalk. Houston, obviously, in the Big 12, et cetera. One thing, I can't sit here and say I'm a bracket expert and this is what has to happen. I have a pretty good idea. And I do feel like, barring this collapse from one of those 3 teams, Purdue, UConn, and Houston, that frankly we haven't seen all year, I think those 3 are pretty locked in, and then it becomes a conversation of probably Tennessee, maybe North Carolina, and probably Arizona for that 4th number 1.
Hey, one more question with these. You had 2 transfers with Grant Nelson, 6'11", 230, Dalton Connett, 6'6", 213. Which one of these guys are you more high on? Which one do you think translates to the NBA a little better?
Well, I'll trust the people that do this every day. Jimmy Dykes said, and I don't think there's an exaggeration, is Dalton Connect might be the first American-born player drafted in the 2024 NBA draft. Now, he's 22 years old, 50-year guy. The NBA historically doesn't love taking upside young players over older players who maybe are a bit more established. But I think Dalton Connect, I think the thing with Grant Nelson, he's got another year of eligibility. And I will readily admit that, listen, he came to Alabama to essentially be a quote-unquote one-and-done. He declared for the NBA draft last year, went through the process. Arkansas fans know that story well. But I just bring it up because, you know, he's been good, but he hasn't been great. And I think in this NIL world, he's kind of the perfect example of, hey, do I really need to rush this process, or do I come back, play a second year of high major college basketball? You know, we've seen a guy like Mark Sears this year, Antonio Reeves, when they've come from a different level. You can just see a different level of confidence in guys that are in their second year in a high major situation coming from the mid-major. So Brett Nelson is one I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed for another year. Dalton Connect, one, doesn't have that option. Two, certainly wouldn't. And I'm fascinated to see, you know, really how the rest of the season plays out for Dalton Connect, because I don't think it's out of the conversation that he could end up winning a National Player of the Year if Tennessee finishes really, really, really strong down the stretch. It would take something special, but it wouldn't totally surprise me.
How do you think about Kentucky right now? You know, this is a team that's winning a lot of games, right? It seemed to figure some stuff out late in the season. You know, it's been a roller coaster year for them, but it seems like Cal's got them playing some pretty good basketball right now, man. I mean, they look really good against Alabama.
I said, so they lost their last 4 games. They obviously 3 great wins at Auburn, Alabama, and then at Mississippi State, which we all saw on Tuesday night. The game in between was LSU. At LSU, they're much improved from last year, but they're not very good. And in that game, they went on a 16-0 run, late first half, early second half. And I bring it up because they ended up blowing that lead, and they ended up losing, obviously, at the buzzer. And I said, I think this is a pivotal moment for them. I think this is the moment where this young team, full of talent, they've proven they can beat anybody because they won at Auburn. Nobody else has done that this year. They beat North Carolina. This is the moment where they realize you can't get too high, you can't get too low, and you've got to play a full 40 minutes basketball. So I bring that up, Phil, because I truly believe that they have turned a corner. Destroyed Alabama, Mississippi State. If you watch the game, and I know, I don't know if you guys had a chance to. I know you guys are busy. Phil, you're traveling with the women's team. If you watch that game, it wasn't like they were playing bad. Mississippi State was just playing very well, but they came back from a double-digit deficit in that game to come back and win. So I do believe they've turned a corner. Now, listen, we know how it is with young teams, with young, talented teams. Are they going to show up against an Arkansas team on Saturday that doesn't have a great win-loss record, but we know they have the talent to play with anybody in college basketball because they beat Duke and they beat Purdue in the preseason. So that, to me, is the big question, but I do think they've turned a corner, and I think they have a chance to have some real momentum going into the SEC tournament.
Can Florida go into Columbia, South Carolina, and get a victory? I kind of put it like Kentucky going into the hump there and beating Mississippi State. Can Florida go to South Carolina and win this Saturday?
Clash of styles, man. Styles make fights. We know South Carolina plays one of the slowest tempos in college basketball. From a styles perspective, I'm just fascinated. Who can dictate their will? Florida wants to get up and down. They want to shoot. They want to score. They want to take a lot of threes. They want to crash the offensive glass. South Carolina, again, plays one of the slowest tempos in the sport. So that, to me, is more of an interesting stylistic game. I'd probably lean South Carolina because they're at home. And I do think, especially being at home, it's easier to dictate, hey, we're going to play super slow and not let you do what you do well. That would be my hunch in that game. But I'll tell you, those are two really impressive teams, second-year head coaches, completely different. I mean, Lamont Paris, longtime assistant. Todd Golden's 36, 37, something like that. I've been really impressed with both those guys.
It's March 18. Did you wake up today?
Ooh.
Believe it's my month. This is my month. This is the month where college basketball absolutely takes over. So as a college basketball guy, amongst all sorts of other sports, I mean, is this the start of a month-long Christmas for you?
I woke up yesterday excited for March, and then I realized it was February 29th, and I was like, what the heck's going on here? I'm in the twilight zone right now. I mean, I love it. It's great because, listen, I love this sport 365 days a year. The three of us will be talking about portal into June. As Arkansas makes another run towards Omaha, we'll have an eye on the portal as well. And so I could talk this stuff 365 days a year, but I think what really makes me happy, Phil, is that other people are really into it. And even just the last couple days, seeing that Reed Shepherd buzzer beater and Kentucky being a conversation, seeing Dalton Connect go for 39 and seeing that be a national conversation. I love college football. That goes without saying. I even love the NFL. I don't talk about it as much, but I love watching football on Sundays. But to have everybody invested, okay, now we know who these guys are, who the stars are, what the storylines are. Now we can dig in for 4 or 5 weeks of really good basketball. I think you're right, Phil. I love this time of year, but I love it. It's going to sound so corny, but I love it because we get to share it with everybody now. It's not just, you following your team or whatever. It's like everybody is bought in. And so I really am. I really do enjoy these next few weeks. I really, truly do.
It's like it's a shared viewing experience with the entire country. And part of that is a major reason is because they haven't screwed up the NCAA basketball tournament yet. Like they'll try to. They haven't done it yet.
Oh, yeah.
College football might be getting screwed up. I don't think people stop watching, but man, don't change this tournament too much. We might have, issues with NIL and the portal and leagues making power plays and stuff like that. But the NCAA basketball tournament, men's and women's, is still about as perfect of an event as it gets in this country.
I know we got to be quick. I'll be quick. All I'll say is, one, I understand why these decisions are made. It's all about money. But we have a systematic societal problem of thinking that everything needs to be fixed and updated and tweaked all the time. We can argue about all sorts of other sports, and also the NCAA tournament is perfect at 68. Please don't expand it. It's going to happen. I hate it, but it is perfect just the way it is. I agree with you 100%, Phil. And I love the weeks leading up to conference tournaments till that bracket on that selection Sunday. It's just a really, really, really fun couple weeks.
It'll be a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it with you quite a bit once it comes time. Aaron, thanks, man. We appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
All right, we'll talk soon, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Aaron Torres. You can always download the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. He's on Fox Sports Radio as well. You can open up the McClarty Daniel hotline for your reactions at 877-377-6963. And remind you that a great place to watch basketball and really just get the best Tex-Mex, better service is at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Every Friday, that's today, Fajita Friday featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. That's full of flavor, comes with the extras. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef and chicken enchiladas that you can eat. Joe's Grilling Cantina, great Tex-Mex, better service, 3400 South 74th across from Harps, joesportsmith.com and the Waiter app to order.
If you're facing $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, there are programs available that can consolidate those debts into one single reduced monthly payment you can afford if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief is on a mission to help you become debt-free in just 24 to 48 months. They've helped over 300,000 qualified consumers. Hardworking Americans just like you pay off more than $1 billion in debt, earning them an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Accredited Debt Relief will tailor the program to fit your specific budget and financial situation. So call Accredited Debt Relief now for your free no-obligation savings estimate and let them help you take control of your financial destiny.
Call 800-658-4848. 800-658-4848. That's 800-658-4848. 800-658-4848. Program and services not available in all states.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Matching down payments up to $2,500 at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. It's like doubling your money. You put in $1,000, you get $2,000. You put in $2,500, it counts for up to $5,000 here at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Yes, hey, Tommy, we're excited. Every time we announce this right here, we get a lot of customers. We get a lot of people coming in, taking advantage of this program. And why not? It's free money, okay? It's going to help you lower your monthly payment. It's going to put you in a better equity position for in the future. Guys, there's no reason not to come down here and buy at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Tell me about your selection right now.
Tommy, we have the best selection that we have had since opening day. Me and you've been doing this since opening day, and I have not seen this many cars on our lot ever. So come down here and see us. We've got the selection to choose from.
Got nearly 200 right now to choose from.
Yep, got around 200. So come out here. We've got everything you're looking for. Car, truck, van, SUV, Transit, Super Duty, whatever it is. Come down here. Let us match your down payment up to $2,500. And hey, we've got the selection.
Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Sallisaw.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Matt, there's something Aaron said in the last segment we were closing up, about the basketball tournament. It's just, it is, you don't want to throw the word perfect out there very much. But I honestly, is there anything better or something that feels more fair than the NCAA basketball tournament, both men's and women's? I can't think of another one. I feel like there's probably too many rounds in the baseball playoffs. The NFL, you keep adding teams in. An extra team that they sent in a couple years ago. I don't know about that. That felt more like. I love the college baseball postseason, but I could see some tweaks because I still don't get the idea of playing series-based sport all regular season and having these weird 14 pods and regionals and those tournaments. So you could make a tweak there. The college football postseason, the thing needs tweaked, and it's being tweaked and over-tweaked and then triply tweaked. Leave the NCAA basketball tournament alone.
Hey, it has the coolest name. What do they call baseball? The Fall Classic. And you got it's March Madness. It's and the one thing that Aaron talked about was the kid from Kentucky making the shot, the floater that was crazy shot. I think of Tyus Edney making the shot against Arkansas the second year when Arkansas was trying to go back-to-back. You think of Leitner's shot. You think of Bryce Drew. It's March Madness. It's the coolest of the names for. I don't know what they call the college football playoff, if they call it anything. But yeah,
I don't think they call it anything.
You got the Fall Classic. That's pretty cool. But then March Madness is right up there.
But it also feels fair. You know what I mean? Like this, the college football championship has not ever, to me, felt quite fair. The 14 playoff, I think, was better than the BCS. The BCS, I think, probably was better than the previous way, which was all up to voters' tendencies. And I know the BCS also factored in the voters' tendencies. But, and then is it fair to have what the SEC and Big Ten are trying to kick around here? Maybe it is. Because, really, the Big Ten and the SEC is the highest level of college football. If you just look at the number of players from each of those leagues comparatively to the others that are at the combine, that will be drafted, that are playing right now in the NFL, just by the athletes alone, it's a better level of football. And there is one aspect of this power play by the SEC and the Big Ten that I don't know if I'd thought about. Clay texted in to me, and I think he's right about this. The ACC, the Big 12, if the two big leagues say this is what we want, our champion gets a bye to the second round, we get 3 automatic qualifiers, and you, who are not us, will only get 2 automatic bids, and you'll never get an automatic bye. Never. Go ahead and do something about that. You know what? If the two leagues don't go along with it, we already can see that the SEC and the Big Ten will probably just be okay going away and starting their own association and having a championship between those two. So it also feels a little bit like a game of chicken. So if you don't go with what we want, we'll take our ball, we'll start our own tournament on somebody else's street, and it's a bigger street, and it's got nicer houses, and there's plenty of open lots to build a nicer house too.
I wonder when players are going to start, because in the soccer world, Phil, like I thought about this with your lady back. Who's the awesome freshman guard that's Talia Scott,
Talia,
right?
That's right.
So over there, you actually own the player's rights. You own the player to be able to have the right to pay the player. So I wonder when America's going to get to that. So Arkansas would be able to sell her and get money off that. To go. So that's how it is. That's how it's going. That's what the model you keep saying what we're going to. That's what we're going to go to. You're going to get these kids young, and you pay for the player's rights, and then you have her rights. You have the opportunity to pay her salary, her NIL. And then if somebody wants them, when they come asking for her, this is her value. She costs $1.25 million. Like, you have to pay us money for her for the opportunity to pay for her. So that's how it's done over there. And if you're looking at the way things are going here, and that's what they're looking for, I would see them doing some sort of scenario like that.
Yeah, and then at that point, what are we doing with the whole idea of mandatory classes, of being a student? Maybe
I think that's left. I think it's optional. I think if you want to get a degree and you're and you know what the truth is, 90. A lot of these kids, it might be the most money they make, like in this period of time right here, but they still are going to have to get a degree and have to go get a job afterwards.
Yeah. Hey, did you see Caitlin Clark has announced for the WNBA draft? Now that means something, because there's another year. She does have another year of eligibility. We were talking about this. You thought maybe she might try to maximize that NIL, maybe transfer somewhere else. I'd read, and this was just a number thrown out there, and I don't know if it's true or not, but her NIL valuation at Iowa is over $800,000. I don't think you make that in the WNBA, but that doesn't mean you don't get endorsements that also value upwards of over $800,000. It's just more I think more people watch women's college basketball than watch the WNBA.
Is Gino Auriemma still at UConn?
Sure is.
If I'm any college school that can, I'm offering her $3 million to because you think about all the records she's going to have. You're going to be able to show her jersey with her name on it. Her valuation, I think, is greater in the college world. She's the number one college basketball player name, boys or girls, right
That's
now.
right.
That's who it is. If she can stay around, man, if you're a suitor, you're giving her whatever money she wants, because all the accolades, everything that's going to be able to go buy her jersey, everything that's going to, you're going to have that for the next 50 years. Because she's going to be one of the best, and you're going to be able to show pictures with her wearing your jersey.
I'm trying to do a search. Iowa and Ohio State, I think, play this weekend.
Oh, that's the rematch.
Yes, that's a rematch. You would imagine. So how much do you think the tickets are right now? I'm on SeatGeek.
Just to get in the building, or like a good ticket.
This is for section JJ row 39. So I don't know the setup at Iowa City at Carver Hawkeye, but I would assume row 39 is a great deal farther back. Here's section E row 42, $349 tickets
For a pair?
for the 42nd row.
Is that per ticket or for the pair?
I think that is
So
that is per ticket, man.
$700 for you and a date to go watch. Then it's $50. It's $1,000 trip if you want to add it up.
There is no ticket in men's college basketball. I don't know this for a fact.
I'm telling you,
ticket in men's college basketball that would be valued at that much.
Iowa has her evaluation wrong. I'd offer her $3 million. Whatever school you are, if you could get her to come play at your school for a year, it would be worth it.
$379, $382. You want to sit on the 19th row is going to put you back almost $800 to sit in the 18th row for Iowa versus Ohio State women's college basketball. And you know what? You're probably going to get your money's worth entertainment-wise. It was a great game the first time around. It'll be a great game the second time around.
I wonder who, she reminds me a little bit of a Steph Curry. You think back years ago to a young Steph, but man, does she not have unlimited range? Like she is an absolute joy to watch play.
Here are some tickets that are $1,000. Now, this is also what people are asking for it. The day before the game, we'll see, or 2 days before the game, we'll see if people.
Ohio State has a better team, I think.
They beat them the first time.
I actually watched most of that game.
That is kind of crazy. Speaking of women's college basketball, I saw the best team in the country yesterday. At least it came across that way to me. Arkansas women's basketball. I think they gave them a really good game for about a quarter, and then Carolina just has two. They have talent that comes at you in waves, and now they've added 3-point shooting, which was a weakness for them over the last couple of years. It was a rough game, even though Arkansas played well at the outset, ended up losing 98-61, and at times, the Razorback players were sucking wind just because they're on the court more than anybody else that plays for South Carolina. It just, that fourth quarter felt like you could have canceled the rest of the game and just like a run rule. We do a run rule in baseball. I don't remember what the score was at the end of 3, but going into the fourth, there's no chance. There's no chance. We're sucking wind. We're chucking up threes because that's all you're able to get. I mean, Carolina's got too much height, too much power in the middle and blocking shots. It was two things. It was tough to watch because we're Arkansas fans, and I want to see them play well and I want to see them win. But it was also painful to watch because South Carolina is that good. They are that. Who was it? Dennis Green? Was it Dennis Green that said the Bears are who they think they are? Well, South Carolina is who we think they are. They're the front runners. Though it is a down year in the SEC, it looks like. We'll see what happens once they end up. They'll probably have to play one of those Pac-12 schools. They've got some really good women's hoops in the Pac-12 this year. Time to close out hour number 1 of halftime in just a moment. Calls and texts come in at 877-377-6963. We'll be right back in a moment.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Need new roof? Shamrock Roofing and Construction can have you covered right now for as low as $139.99 with approved credit. For quality and peace of mind, one call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction, call 479-319-5100. Supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. As one of America's largest roofing companies, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. We can do your job right now. And because we paid less for our material, we can share those savings with you. Call today or visit us at shamrockroofer.com.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westart Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westart Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Man, at first glance, when I see that the Naked Gun reboot is being released in the summer of 2025, I start thinking it's like the same thing as before about the NCAA basketball tournament, Matt. The Naked Gun was a perfect comedy movie. We do not need a remake of it. We didn't need a Naked Gun 2. We didn't need, what was it, a Naked Gun 2.5, a Naked Gun 3 1/3. We didn't need those, but they made them. It was okay. I watched them. Don't remake those movies. But, I mean, to me, that was a perfect comedy, the perfect spoof comedy, right along with Airplane. And, of course, there's only one Leslie Nielsen.
Well, do you know who could play Richard Lewis in a autobiography or any type of film about him? With that Paul McCartney mullet, Wayne Gretzky thing he had going, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what I want to see.
Looks like him a little bit. You're right.
I don't want to see a Naked Gun 17. I want to see Robert Downey Jr. portraying his life in whatever way you want to make it. I think that would be pretty cool.
What I'd like to see is the movie about a young Richard Lewis,
like in the 80s, like a 70s, 80s.
No, I mean a kid. I mean,
I got
like
you.
young Sheldon.
I don't think Robert Downey Jr. can go back that far. Yeah,
probably not. But I'd want to see. It's like you watch Young Sheldon, right? And you get to see how Sheldon turned into what he was,
like a prequel. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I want to see everything that happened in Richard Lewis's childhood. Was it Brooklyn? I'm pretty sure it was. That turned him into the neurotic comic that we all kind of fell in love with. What kind of mullet was that? That was a
It's
Wayne
a Paul McCartney, Wayne Gretzky,
Jaromir Jagr.
Oh my goodness, first class right there. Robin Yount.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yount had the mustache to go along with it too.
The kid, the guy, the chucker, the guy Keith Hernandez had one going on too.
Jagr had such a great mullet too because he had so it's like the business up front, the party in the back. No, he had the party up front and the party in the back. I mean, he had like the big fluff at the front of that mullet, and he was 18, and women threw Kit Kat bars on the ice for him because they knew he loved Kit Kat bars. Man, that was amazing when Jagr got over there. But I also saw, who's going to be playing Lieutenant Frank Drebin? Liam Neeson will play Lieutenant Frank Drebin with his special set of skills. This actually works. So has Neeson done comedy before? Because I don't think Nielsen did any comedy until Airplane. And he spoofed the kind of characters he played previously in his career. I mean, he was a serious, like, Western kind of actor. And then, no, we don't know him like that. We know him as the goofy, slapstick, funny face comedian, and that's how I view Liam Neeson too. So I don't know. Maybe it'll work.
Do you know for Spielberg had for Schindler's List who was going to play Liam Neeson's character?
Who was it?
Mel Gibson. You'd never believe that, would you? He was supposed, but Spielberg didn't want to go with a famous guy, and he went with Liam Neeson. Did you? Yeah, right.
And then all those years later, we're shown real.
He didn't want to star because he had done Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson was a bona fide star, and he didn't want to detract from the way. That's the way Spielberg told it. But that was going to be his role.
You just blew my mind, Matt Jones. Absolutely.
It's not even the golden hour yet. What are you doing to me?
I gotta walk out of here in just a moment. I can't take that information. 877-377-6963 for the McClarty Daniel hotline. Stay with us. Halftime back in just a moment.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
This is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the Homestead Tax Credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The Homestead Tax Credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PBS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 50s. Tonight, mainly clear, overnight low near 40. Sunshine, our high in the low 70s on Saturday. And then Sunday, lots of sunshine, our high upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Joaquin State dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
But they were one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
But I still can't get
Your boy.
I still can't get the idea of Mel Gibson as
I
the
couldn't
savior
either.
of the Jews out of my head here.
I couldn't when I heard that. It was but it makes sense after when you hear it all because he was a bona fide star back then, like at that time. Yeah, when that was going out. And Liam Nielsen, he definitely looked he did not look like he was a man with a special set of skills back then. That's for sure.
Well, you got to have a special set of skills if you do physical comedy like you got to do for the Naked Gun. So the more I think about it, the more it starts to fit a little of what they were doing with Leslie Nielsen the first time around. It's just, don't have the same plot, but at least have a good baseball scene. Bubba and I were talking about the Naked Gun baseball scene for during the last Razorback broadcast because, what else are you going to talk about during a 21-1 game? The game on the field at that point kind of becomes secondary. So the umpire, he got himself messed up because he Matt, did you ever practice being an umpire? Did you just kind of practice the hand signals and stuff like that? Or were you practicing football official holding calls and that kind of stuff?
Everybody be like,
We always practiced our strike call as kids, maybe because we were all dorks and geeks. Yeah, it was, but then you get your regular strike call, just a regular strike call for strike 1 and 2, and then you can get theatrical for strike 3. Well, the plate umpire got theatrical for strike 1. I think more than anything, he just either forgot what the count was or he got bored. So Bubba says, "Hey, look at Enrico Palazzo down there on the field." And it was like, all right, we'll get him a microphone so we can sing the national anthem. That's the one thing. It's like, do you really have to recreate that? Because there was so much about that movie that was really funny. Does that need to be recreated? Do you have the broadcast team? I mean, the broadcast team of Dick Vitale, Dick Enberg, Jim Palmer, Mel Allen, Kurt Gowdy, Tim McCarver, and Dr. Joyce Brothers. these are some that there's yeah. I'll watch it. Do I? Initially, I don't want them to remake that movie, but I guess I'll be okay if they do. Calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. We got a call from Noah in Fayetteville, so let's talk with Noah. Hey, Noah. How you doing today? Thanks for the call.
Yeah, I love listening to your guys' show. I just caught the end of the segment where you had Aaron on talking about the NCAA tournament. And so I'm not sure if y'all covered this or not, but I think the only change that they need to make is if you win your conference tournament, you should not play in the first four. That should only be for the last teams in that got, at-large bid. So if somehow Texas A&M snuck into the tournament this year, for example, they should have to play in the first four instead of, it seems like Texas Southern is always playing in it, even though they won their conference.
Texas A&M's not getting in the tournament. There's no way, right?
But,
there's no way.
Right, exactly. I was just thinking of like a fringe team.
I know. So what if any team that wins their conference tournament you don't think should be in that final? I could get down with that.
Right. And it's those small schools. It means the world.
Because you're really not in.
Down to 64, but I don't really know how they view that, though. No, appreciate the phone call. Thank you. 877-377-6963. Austin says Syracuse made it out of the play-in game into a Final Four. I thought maybe George Mason did that year that they got there. And the women's Final Four, the women's tournament just added the first four. It was either last year or the year before, so good thing that they at least made that more equal. We've got baseball coming up here at Baum Walker at 3 o'clock. 2:30 is the air time, so I got to cut out at 1:30 in order to talk with DVH. We'll have James Teague from the Teague Law Firm to come on here and talk about pitching and the baseball team in the next segment. So you got questions for James, you can text them in as well. Murray State made a change in what I guess you'd expect to be their starting rotation for this weekend. This will be interesting. They've got a right-handed pitcher, Jacob Pennington, who is their Friday starter, and he pitched last week as a starter. 7 scoreless innings, 9 strikeouts, just 4 base hits. But he's also a two-way guy, and he only has 4 at-bats this year. And Skirka, the head coach for Murray State, I read of the paper, says that Pennington wants to have more at-bats. He deserves more at-bats, and so he'll pitch in relief this weekend as well. But, I mean, he is their best pitcher. At least that's what it appears to be. So, that's a guy that may end up getting the ball if it's the 7th or the 8th inning and Murray State somehow is ahead of the Razorbacks at any point this weekend. So a little bit of a wild card as far as the Racers pitching staff is concerned. This is an old team, too. Very old team. Mostly juniors, seniors, and graduate students. So this is a team that's more made up of young men than they are guys kind of making their way into young mendom, though Arkansas has plenty of players like that too. It's just you have your occasional freshmen and sophomores that are getting out there. It's a good Murray State team, 6-2 record. They're averaging 9 runs a game, so it'll be a pretty good test, Matt, I think, for the Arkansas pitching staff coming back here to Baum and playing in front of their own fans. And I think we will get one of those crowds tomorrow of about 12,000 or so. It'll be one of those days that is good for panoramic photos of the ballpark, which we really love that so much. I guess questions I have for this weekend as far as the lineup is concerned. Dave's talking about Hudson Polk maybe getting some at-bats as a designated hitter. I think they wanted Polk to redshirt, but he wants to play because he wants to go to pro ball next year and doesn't want to sit. He would play a lot for Arkansas next year if he were to come back, but he already got his at-bat, so he can't redshirt. I felt like we've just sort of expected that the designated hitter for Arkansas would be somebody like a Ben McLaughlin if he's not on the field, or a Hudson White if he's not catching, or Jack Wagner if he's not at first base. I don't know if anybody thought that Hudson Polk would be that guy. But as the fourth catcher, he's not going to catch very much. But if he can – look, I mean, the home run he hit the other day, it was off Grambling, but it was against a pitcher that throws low 90s. So, and again, he was one of those guys, Matt, that hit against this pitching staff in the fall and in the lead up to the regular season. So, I don't remember what his numbers were last year, but they were really bad, not worth remembering. A ton of strikeouts, a ton of swing and miss. But it seems he's a much better and much different hitter than that now. So I think Polk's name has to be tossed in there potentially about being not an every game designated hitter, but maybe once a weekend if he continues to show that he can do that. And that's a tough job, man. It's like being a pinch hitter, but a pinch hitter for 4 times a weekend. That's it.
Hey, every time you get to go out there, another opportunity to prove yourself. I'm excited for it, Phil, that you get to come back. The spirit's in the air. It's baseball fever, and they got to be excited. If you're on this baseball team, you got to playing with the good group of guys and being good. It's a joy to show up to the ballpark every day.
Well, they're coming out right now. They look like they got a little hop in their step in the start of a 12. Well, Tuesday was the start of the 12-game homestand, but it all leads to kind of, you're playing Missouri to open up the SEC. That's kind of like dipping your toe in the water to start conference play before you go on the road to Auburn, which has a good team this year. So this will be a really interesting and a very, very important homestand. Hey, I want to remind you about the newest community being built in Springdale right now by our friends at Buffington Homes, one of the most convenient places to live anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. It is Cottages at the Park. This is right by the brand new Shaw Family Park. 15-minute drive from Fayetteville, Rogers, and Bentonville, and close to all the big employers. Home prices starting in the 400,000s with a huge selection of single-story and two-story homes, perfect for every stage of life. That's Cottages at the Park. Learn more at buffingtonhomesar.com/hog radio. James Teague from the Teague Law Firm stops by halftime in just a moment.
Brady Slavens sparks this team to Omaha, and the roadshow continues for the Arkansas Razorbacks. A 4-3 win, come from behind style in the 9th inning. The Razorbacks dogpiling on the field here in Chapel Hill with their 11th trip to the College World Series, and you can call them the Omahas.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. It's Big C here again on this beautiful Friday where they are still matching down payments up to $2,500, folks. That's a lot of money you can save right now. If you've got your tax refund in, that's a good way to get the most out of it, is to put it towards a vehicle. And they've got a lot of them out here on the lot, more than they've had in a while. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, some 2023s and 2024s as well out there on the lot. Come test drive a vehicle. If you're having trouble finding something, they'll probably have it for you here at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford. If you want to trade in your vehicle, they always give you more for your trade here as well. So come by and see them. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, Always online at harryrobinson.com.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the Mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, Wes. Billy, K is for horses. Are my ears that long?
Oh, you got me again. I'm going to order a large Boss Hog pizza for fishing tomorrow.
That's a lot of food. You taking a friend?
No, sir. I'm going to use it as bait.
Pizza as bait for fishing?
Yes'm. The catfish love 'em. Some Jim's Razorback pizza.
They do?
Yes'm. They chase the bacon faster than green grass through a goose.
Bacon? Never would have thunk it.
Yup. And they come right to the river's edge when I call them too. Woo! Fish suey!
Oh, blessed Billy. All right, son. Have fun fishing.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Time to check in with James Teague from the Teague Law Firm. He's right here with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline, former Arkansas pitcher and, of course, lawyer extraordinaire, Esquire. James, you put Esquire at the end of your name all the time now, don't you? Do I have to introduce you that way?
See, I typically don't. I think it's a little old school. I try not to be too self-flattering. But, no, I typically don't, but, hey, no harm, no foul if you want to.
Okay, we'll see how we'll work on it next week. We'll see if we come up with something like that. Got to open up with you about if you were watching from Friday, and I know you were at least paying attention. That Hagen Smith, the appearance he had against Oregon State. I've been around baseball for most of my life. Watched a ton of major leagues, a lot of minor leagues, a lot of college baseball. I have never seen anything like I saw from Hagen Smith last Friday. You've lived the life of baseball. I don't think you have either.
I have not, and I might not see it again, frankly. We got off the water just in time. We got to the second inning, and the announcers were like, oh, he struck outside in the first. We're like, oh, great. And then in the second inning, they just kept rolling and kept rolling. And by the third, fourth, fifth inning, we were all sitting there. And Tyler Spoon, he was a guy with me on the team. You may remember Spoon.
Sure.
We were watching it together, and it was just, it was pretty unbelievable. I was telling the guys, in my opinion, it's the perfect storm of three major categories. The first being stuff, which obviously is there. The second being command, throwing breaking balls off of fastballs, guys not being able to see it. But then the third is the deception. And so when you have all three of those things firing on all cylinders to that extent, it's just like video game. You just put the ball where you want to place it. They're not seeing the spin. They're not catching up the fastball. You're putting it where you want to go, and that's what can happen. Now, a lot of times you've probably seen, even when you do all three of those things great, guys still find a way to make contact, but that just wasn't the case.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm. What do you see about Hagen that makes him deceptive? Because we all see the velocity. The slider was ungodly last Friday, and obviously he had command. What about him is deceptive?
So I don't have like his TrackMan data. Now they've got all the data with how much vertical rise or this or that or spin. But to me, when guys throw with a low elbow, that was always deceptive to me. So if you threw hard with a low elbow, the ball seems to really carry through the zone. I think with Hagen, he kind of has that the low elbow, but then the high spin, four-seam fastball to where it really gets on you quickly, opposed to someone who's real over the top throwing downhill. To me, those were always the hardest guys to see. And I played with a guy like that in pro ball who pitched for Xavier, and he threw 88-90, and I saw him strike. It was in high A. I saw him strike out 10-plus guys a game for 10 straight games, throwing 88-90 and throwing almost nothing but fastballs. And he just had that real deceptive low elbow from the left side. So I think there's something to it. I don't necessarily have all the analytics behind it, but then you take a guy like Hagen, he's not throwing 88-90, he's throwing 98-100, and then you throw a slider off of it. That's when the deception and the stuff can just go to a whole nother level when everything's clicking.
Well, obviously there was something about last Friday. It's like a basketball player that can't miss a shot because the hoop looks like it's 10 feet wide. It's like, a baseball hitter where the ball seems like it's as big as a balloon, and sometimes when you're slumping, it seems like it's the size of a golf ball. Can you feel that when you just know? Because he could hit his spots the other day, and sometimes that's an issue for anybody that throws a baseball at any speed. And you gotta value those moments, because who knows if he's got that kind of command today.
Yeah. I think the feeling is where you can be as aggressive as you want to be throwing the ball with conviction, and the ball goes where you want it to go. You don't have to add or subtract or think about timing or mechanics. It's kind of just simplified. See the glove and throw it as hard as you can. And when it goes to the glove, whether it's a fastball or a breaking ball or changeup, whatever you're throwing, those are the days where just your mind and your body are clicking to such an extent that you have to really cherish those moments, because like you said, you may come out the next day and it'd be totally opposite.
But there's only so many games that you can pitch where you will just blow everybody away. There's just, it doesn't happen very often. I think about a pitcher like Blaine Knight, and Blaine had good stuff, not to the level of Hagen Smith, but on days where he was battling, and you could see that he was battling, and maybe his slider wasn't working like he wanted, or the sinker wasn't dropping as much as it usually does, or he just wasn't hitting his spots, he still found a way to get outs. And that's what pitching's about. Like, if you have your best stuff, great, you probably dominate. You don't always have your best stuff, and quite often you probably don't. You still have to find a way to go out and get outs. That's pitching. And really, I'll be interested to see what it's like for Hagen when it's a day like that, because it can happen any weekend.
Yeah, and I know a lot of pitchers are golfers, and to me there's a lot of crossover because, not everyone has pitched at that level, but most people have golfed, and they can relate to, you go out on the course and you're like, why am I slicing the ball today? My swing feels the same, everything feels the same. That ball shouldn't be slicing, but it is. And the next hole you hit a duck hook, and you're like, how'd that happen? Sometimes pitching is like that. It's just your mind and your body are not synced, and you don't necessarily know why. But, the days that you are synced up and you're hitting it down the middle and you're hitting the center of the face and just the timing is there, those are the days you have to just find ways to get back to that spot if you don't have it. But if you do have it, you ride it as long as you can.
That's an interesting way to put it. It's like, Matt, when you're on the golf course, if you're talking to yourself in your head and you're trying to figure out, like, why am I slicing, why am I hooking,
it's too late.
Yeah, it seems it would be pretty important to shut the little man on your shoulder up.
Yeah, I think in most sports, players play better when they're free and they're reacting, they're not out there thinking. Just out there, kind of second nature type stuff.
That's what it looked like the other day, James. He was just out there throwing. The rest of this pitching staff, though, it's like they're almost forgotten because Hagan got all the headlines, but the starters didn't allow. You're going back to 2 Mondays ago. The last run allowed by an Arkansas starter was 2 Sundays ago. That would have been on February the 18th. That's wild. That tells you how good this pitching staff is.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think we saw Tigert battling a little bit. Same with Molina, not being totally dialed in to the degree that maybe they can be, but still having the stuff and the command and kind of the heart to kind of fight through it, and get outs and not give up runs, which is, frankly, probably what you're going to see most weekends. I think you can probably pick a handful of starts a year where really everything is clicking. But I know that OSU game was tough not to pull that out, but to the pitching staff's credit, they did everything they needed to do. And I think if you pitch like that over the course of the season, the offense is going to come around.
We got a text in here from Woods, a former Arkansas pitcher, and he has a philosophy here, or at least a question and his own answer, and he wonders what you think about this. He wonders what innings are the most important in order to win a 3-game series. He thinks it's Saturday innings 6 through 9. They're the swing innings of the series. What do you think? Or are there just 3 innings that you could point to that would say this is where everything swings on?
I would say the first 6 innings of Friday are some of the most important because that's going to dictate the depth of your bullpen. If your starter gives you depth on Friday and you don't have to eat up a long relief guy on Saturday and you don't have to have long innings out of the bullpen on that Friday, I think those are really important. So depth on Friday to me is very important because it really determines your bullpen. As far as Saturday goes, even if your Saturday guy gets in a bind, you've got a McIntyre who can eat up 5, 6, 7 of those innings and then still save your bullpen. And then Sunday, I think, is just about, okay, what happened Friday and Saturday? Who's left? Who can come back, back-to-back days? Or who do we have fresh that can contribute? So to me, I actually think the most important would be length on Friday from your starter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that sets everything up for the rest of the weekend. That's exactly right. It's not a disconnect on the team. It's just pitching is ahead of hitting right now, and I think that the lineup will respond. I think this weekend will be a big weekend for them. But as a pitcher, when you're on a team that might be struggling to score runs, it's not a matter of frustration with your teammates. Do you have to keep in mind of the score when you're pitching, or is getting outs just getting outs? Because we'll hear about pitchers that if they're up by 6 or 7 runs, they don't mind giving up a run. They just don't want to walk guys. But when you're in a really tight ball game, and usually if you get a team that struggles to score runs and you're pitching, you want to keep it as close as possible. So it's a tight ball game. The pressure's on. Does the score matter much when you're on the mound, or is it just a matter of getting outs?
I don't think the score matters as much because, especially if you got an offense that can break it open, I don't think you would change your game plan necessarily because you're always expecting the offense to come through. And when you're pitching, there's so much ebb and flow in a game. It's kind of like the shortstop who makes an error, but then the next play makes an amazing double play and kind of makes up for it. It can be very similar with the offense. You don't score for 5, 6 innings. Well, as a pitcher, you don't need to start pressing to try to strike everybody out or not let a guy on base because you may put up 4 or 5 runs in the 7th inning and put all that unnecessary stress on yourself. I think pitchers, the best way is, it's kind of cliche, but next guy, next out, do your job, pass the torch, and the offense is going to do what they're going to do. And if they score, great. If they don't, then, what do we do wrong? How do we fix it? Move on kind of deal.
So I'm excited to see what it's like. I think you'll get a good crowd today, but tomorrow's crowd with the weather is looking like it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those Saturdays at Baum, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. When Murray State comes out and they see the crowd, they'll be in awe of that. When you're a Razorback, maybe you get used to it, but do you ever, when you take the field and you see how many people are here and in the hog pen and the energy in the ballpark, that you never lose that electricity through your body. Like, I can feel it in the booth. I can imagine what it feels like to you guys down there.
Oh, yeah. I remember Saturdays warming up and, getting loose for the game. I mean, you feel like you can just throw the ball out of the stadium. It's probably similar, Matt. You may be able to speak to this as a former basketball guy. And then you play a little basketball. Warming up when you're on the layup line, you feel like you can just touch the rim or dunk, or you're like jumping is nothing. You just have that energy to where it's a little easier to dunk on game day with a full crowd than it is, in practice, or maybe running on the field, football field. You just feel lighter. You kind of have that extra juice. It's very similar to that.
James, let's talk about divorce and division of property, because you are Esquire, and these are things that you can help people out with.
Yeah. So in the divorce world, we've had a lot of cases where you're getting divorced. You've got maybe 10, 20-year marriage, and you've got a lot of property, and maybe you've got an inheritance, or maybe you've got some retirements, or maybe you've got some other personal accounts. Well, how does it all fit together? Is my spouse entitled to it? Are they not? What about this money I have here? It can get pretty complicated. And so if you don't have, someone, with the legal expertise to kind of sort through all of that, it can get complicated in a hurry. I think that's one thing that we do well here. I'm a big researcher. I love to research. I love to dive into the cases, into the law, and to, write briefs and those things. And I think that's one of the main things that we bring, is to sort through all of that, help people know what they're entitled to, what they're not entitled to maybe, and really, divvy it all up cleanly in an efficient manner to where, they're legally protected.
It's great stuff, James. Appreciate you. Always love talking baseball with you and anything involved in the law. Thanks for coming on with us, and we'll revisit next week.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to watch Hagen today, and thanks for having me on, and I'll talk to you next Friday.
James Teague from the Teague Law Firm. They've been around for nearly 30 years, helping you, your family, and friends through tough times. James can help with all family law matters, as you just heard. Criminal law, such as ranging anywhere from felonies to traffic offenses, DWIs, and more. Teague Law Firm is a full-service law firm. You're going to talk to actual lawyers. You'll get their cell phones, and they will call you back. Call James and the Teague Law Firm at 479-877-1688 and online at teague-law.com. The Teague Law Firm, if they can't help you, they'll talk baseball. You can talk with us in just a moment. Get on the McClarty Daniel hotline. The number's 877-377-6963. Right back in a moment.
KC Insurance wants to remind everyone they are your local, trusted insurance agency for all your life and health insurance needs. They are located in the North Bell Shopping Center at 912 Highway 6265 North in Harrison. Feel free to drop by the office anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., or call 870-517-1207 to schedule your appointment now. And don't forget, they are local people helping local people.
Evan Cohen here from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio for True Green. Are you ready to elevate your lawn game without breaking the bank? True Green has been the trusted choice for over 2 million homeowners for over 50 years. Visit TrueGreen.com and discover the easiest and affordable way to achieve a pro-level lawn guaranteed. Plus, enjoy True Green's verified price matching, ensuring you get the best lawn for the best price. Visit TrueGreen.com and transform your lawn effortlessly. That's TrueGreen.com. Your dream lawn is just around the corner.
This is halftime. ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike
Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline to join the conversation.
I don't know where I'll stay tonight. Under the sky, or maybe you're better against the wind. I crossed your desert today. Don't care what you say, but baby, I'm gonna stay.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
We did get a text on that McClarty Daniel text line. Eddie and Amity has a prediction that Battle, Mark, and Mitchell all score 15 points. It's going to be a barn burner tomorrow at Rupp, and thinks that maybe Arkansas can pull it out. Here's the thing about Arkansas. You could say about all the points that they may score. Right now, it's such a team that's struggling defensively. It's not a matter for me about if they can score or not. Kentucky has scored over 90 points in each of the last two games, including 91 at the Hump. So, Matt, it's not a matter for me if Arkansas can score. They've had troubles doing that at times. It's you just gave up 85 points to Vanderbilt at home. So, am I to think that Arkansas can slow down Kentucky's offense right now at all?
The one thing that Coach Musk talked about, or whenever you heard, him talking before the Vanderbilt game, he was talking about how good defense they were playing. That's where it was starting. It was starting on the defensive end. In that Vanderbilt game, it looked like we had reverted back to a lot of bad habits. And I don't know what it was, but no, not if you're not going to play better defense, Phil. I think that's where it starts with this basketball team is. You got to limit possessions, and you gotta get stops. It didn't help that we went 1 for 17 in a little stretch there. And I wonder, do you use a timeout? Do you make a change? Do you let the players play through? Just all the different things that must be going through coach's mind when a team's going like that. But no, you're right, Phil. If we don't get any stops, it could get ugly.
Shot selection so much has something to do with what the opponent can do with that bad shot and push it. And I wonder also if there's just an emotional letdown when you have a 1-for-17 stretch and you're consistently defending without scoring. It did look like that the other day. Is this going to be another game where Mekhi Mitchell is out there for less than 20 minutes? I know he didn't do much offensively, but still, for struggles on the glass, for problems defending the paint, and for consistently having 4 guards out there, I just would expect that if you have any opportunity to upset Kentucky, as good as Mekhi has played when it appeared that Arkansas may have, quote, turned things around, unquote, for a little bit, he's got to be part of it tomorrow, and more than just 18 minutes.
That's the that's another stat that when I started adding it up, and you were looking at Mekhi Mitchell, you were looking at Devo Davis, and you were looking at Davenport. Devo only 13 minutes, Mekhi only 18, Davenport 24. But in all those minutes, those 3 players combined for 3 total points. And I want to say that was somewhere around 6 fouls. You know, they had more fouls than points. Those 3 right there have to play better, Phil. Like that, it has to. We have to be a complete team where maybe Battle or Mark's giving you the points, but man, those guys, it's going to take all of us if they're going to get a victory.
Hogs right now are tied with Georgia for the number 11 seed in Nashville, but Georgia's got the tiebreaker, so Hogs are 12th. With 3 games left, I mean, you could actually fall to the 13 seed. Not like it matters because 12 and 13 play each other. It's just the way that the standings line up. A&M is 10th. You have the tiebreaker over A&M. A&M's just a game in front of Arkansas. They have Georgia, Mississippi State, and Mississippi. Razorbacks, of course, finishing with Kentucky, LSU, and Alabama. If you win one of those games, and the one that you have a chance really, because it's at home, is LSU, right now it almost, you can't guarantee that Arkansas is playing the first day in Nashville, Matt, but it really starts to look like.
Are there only 2 teams that play the first day, or is there 4?
It's the bottom 4.
So Vanderbilt, Missouri, Arkansas, and
Georgia right now.
Man.
And then what happens is you end
you
up.
want to get Missouri, I think.
You end up.
We want to play.
You would end up playing. You're looking at right now, and again, it's so much of it has to do with what happens in the next 3 days. Kentucky, Florida, and Auburn are tied for the 4th seed. Kentucky's got the top tiebreaker. Florida's 5th, Auburn's 6th. So the 12-13 game, you play any one of those 3 teams, and it didn't go very well for Arkansas against either 3 of them when they've played them, and you get to see Kentucky tomorrow. So, yeah, it's not looking really good for that. And there is more than
it's gonna.
Go ahead.
It's gonna be a deal, Phil, where Kentucky, Rupp Arena, it's gonna be rocking. You know, can we withstand this first 8 minutes? What is the score at that second TV timeout at the under 12 timeout? That to me. Are we down 12 already? Because we've seen this team do that, and I don't know if we can't keep it single digits by that time, it's going to be ugly.
I mean, you played a fairly inspired game against Kentucky the last time around. You remember that was after losing 2 in a row to Carolina and Ole Miss. That was when you started to realize, my gosh, the season might be starting to slip away. But you had. The impact of game day being on campus and your own fans there, and they did show up for the ball game. Tomorrow feels, that day, I know that was a little more than a month ago, but Matt, that feels like, just like Brett Dolan had said yesterday, it feels like this has been a 7-month basketball season. That feels like that was about 7 months ago. So they played inspired enough to keep it really close the entire ball game. In fact, Arkansas got up by 10 and end up losing by 6. It wasn't a very inspired performance against Vanderbilt. The thing that I could take from that is the effort has been there, and if your head is hanging after a home loss to Vanderbilt, the only way to start feeling better about it is just to go and try to play your best game against a team in Kentucky that I think even if you play your best game, it could end up being a long day.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky's going to be one of those teams that they're going to be more rangy. They're going to have longer guys. I don't know if our 4-guard lineup. I mean, you're going to need Graham, Mitchell, Brazil. We're going to need some length and some height to have a chance with Kentucky because they are so athletic and they are long. They got a lot of those guys have the basketball prototype body. You know, they're 5 stars, 4 stars. They're athletes. We don't match up with them athletically. So if we can. You got to slow the game down and be smart, discipline, all the little things that this team's not good at. So I don't know. It's hopefully the one thing, and you said this, Phil, this team has not quit. This team fights. They go out there and fight, and it is a true David versus Goliath type deal. And it could be ugly quick.
That's how I felt last night. You know, a real David versus Goliath with South Carolina coming in. And you could see it in the warm-ups. You know, I mean, the Arkansas players were a little quieter in the warm-ups. The South Carolina players were free and easy. They were dancing to the music. They were singing the lyrics that DJ Derrick kept putting out there. And that's Arkansas came out with the right hook. They scored 7 of the first 9. And I thought they played a really good first quarter. They were able to beat Carolina to the rim. They knocked down a few threes, but it took a lot of effort. I mean, you look at the idea that the best player on South Carolina, Camila Cardozo, 6'7" center from Brazil, played just less than 16 minutes, and they got more bench scoring than they got scoring from their starters. That's the kind of stuff that happened with Carolina. Like last year, South Carolina went through an undefeated regular season, lose to Iowa in the Final Four, and the players, I mean, they lost all their starters. They lost all their starters. They had 7 players drafted, and the girls who were behind them are the starting lineup this year, and they're better. I mean, maybe they're better. I don't know. I mean, how can you say better? Undefeated. I guess winning the national title would be the way to tell whether they're undefeated or not. But their secondary 5 probably would be a very good starting 5 for any team in this Southeastern Conference, and that was the case last year. And it's a machine. It's absolutely a machine. And now they can hit 3-pointers. That was the one thing that was sort of against them the last couple of years, but they had 8 of them yesterday. Arkansas also had 8 3-pointers on 41 attempts. Took 63 shots, 18 2-pointers, 22 2-pointers, 41 threes. And by the end, they just didn't have any legs left. You could see it on their faces. The most minutes played by any Carolina player yesterday, Matt, Tahina Paopao, who transferred in from Oregon. She played just less than 27 minutes. The fewest minutes played by an Arkansas starter was Sailor Poffenbarger, and she fouled out with 24 minutes. Everybody else played over 31 to 35 minutes, and those were 35 hard minutes. You could see it. They're great athletes. They don't get winded very much, but that's the kind of team that South Carolina is. It takes that much effort just to hang with them for a quarter and then down in double digits at halftime, and you've still expended an incredible amount of energy. Dawn Staley's got a seriously great basketball team. I don't think anybody in the SEC can beat them except maybe LSU, and they've been good, but they've also had some up and down moments this year. Halftime's brought to you by Crabtree RV Center in Alma. Your sales tax still paid in full on any new remaining 2023 model in stock, but the selection is more limited by the day because people are taking this offer and running with it. Hurry over to Crabtree RV Center. Check out that remaining 2023 group of models, and you get your sales tax paid in full. That's Crabtree RV Center, right at the junction of I-40 and I-49 beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma. CrabtreeRV.com. We'll wrap up the second hour of halftime in just a moment.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location. This year, upgrade your home to safe, convenient, and energy-efficient natural gas from Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. Skip the prepayments and delivery issues, and enjoy the peace of mind knowing that your natural gas is always there when you need it. And we can help make converting your home easy and affordable too. For heating, hot water, cooking, and more, it's time to upgrade to safe, reliable, and energy-efficient natural gas. Visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage. Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their ham-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now. Do you need free legal advice? Listen to Coffee with Counsel with Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull on the Hit That Line podcast network.
What do you think is the percentage of legitimate contracts I see come through on disputes between contractors and homeowners?
I would hope that it's higher than 50% at least.
Like it may say, construct a porch. Well, does that mean put the roof on the porch? Does that mean put the rails on the porch? Does that mean, what is included?
For more information, go to hickeyandhull.com. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Oh, you got to love the idea of intellectual property. NIL is essentially intellectual property because it's your own. The Rock, he went into a deal with WWE owner TKO Group Holdings. He's been added to the board of directors, and as part of this deal, he gets the rights to his alter ego, The Rock, and not just that. He also now, Matt, has the rights. He has the intellectual property rights to the words jabroni candy ass, Rudy Poo, and the phrase know your role and shut your mouth. Apparently, he also was granted ownership of other nicknames, caricatures, voice, signatures, gestures, routines, costumes, and parts of costumes, which means I thought he already owned his own eyebrow because that was a thing for him for years. But I guess if you use the word jabroni, you may have to pay The Rock 10 cents or something. It's like putting three-peat on a T-shirt. I think you've got to give some money to Pat Riley, right?
Travis Kelce is going bankrupt in that case.
Well, it's true. That's a very good point, Wolf. Yeah, so he does own nicknames. People's Champion, Samoan Sensation. Man, and now he's a football commissioner. Is he the commissioner of that UFL, or is he just the owner of it? But I never thought you could actually, like, jabroni's a word, man. I grew up with that word. It's like a word that every Pittsburgher throws around. Any Yinzer worth his weight in Iron City beer throws the word jabroni around like it's nobody's business. So you can't own the word jabroni. Good luck with that, though, Rock. Were you ever a wrestling guy, Matt?
It's when you're I'm trying to think what this place was. My pops used to work out in Hot Springs, and I'd get off of school and you'd watch some wrestling back then. I'm wrestling. It's,
wrestling.
Stinger Splash. That age, But no, I'd never. It's just something to do. But no, I never got into it.
Man, I was into it as a kid to the point where I know how to throw a figure four leg lock on somebody.
Never
if you're
see
not careful.
That always scared me because I always, somebody would take it too far, and then all of a sudden I got torn cartilage in my knee.
I could put you in a Boston Crab. I could definitely throw the figure four leg lock on you. The sleeper hold, I had trouble putting the sleeper hold on properly. Trust me, I tried it on my sister. She would tell you about it. She knows what it feels like to be in a figure four leg lock. We do love each other. I did defend her quite often, but yeah, I also. I might have thrown a figure four leg lock onto Lauren once or twice.
Did you used to let people choke you out?
No. I don't know if that's a wrestling thing either. The students do that in bathrooms now.
Some of the football, I couldn't do it. I was like, no, that doesn't sound like fun to me. But some of the guys would do that, and you're just like, oh my goodness.
What are we doing here? Yes, the word choke is not supposed to be associated with
they'd put them in the sleeper
fun.
hold, and then they'd wake them up. I was like, no, I'll just watch y'all. I'll watch y'all do it.
Yeah, when I see him slump down like that and his head hits the tile bathroom floor here in high school, I don't know if I really want to try this. Doesn't look like a lot of fun. It's like, line me up as a tackling dummy instead. Be a heck of a lot more.
Why do you put doctor in air quotes? Which one of y'all has the PhD?
877-377-6963 when you want to get with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. We got the golden hour coming up. It means we've made it through the end of the week. I've got another couple of segments before I head down to the field because Arkansas is taking batting practice right now, and there's DVH out there in his Razorback black hoodie, right deep shortstop in the perfect DVH stance, hands behind hips, talking to base runners about getting secondary leads. The nitty-gritty with DVH during batting practice. Otherwise, we'll come back, and the golden hour is approaching on halftime, so stay with us.
$1.9% financing for as long as 72 months. Right now at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. Hadn't seen 1.9 in a while and certainly hadn't seen it on 72 months.
Yes, and you know what else you haven't seen? The matching down payments with the special APR. So come down here and see us. We'll match your down payment up to $2,500. 72 months, 1.9 on the new F-150s. We've got plenty in stock to choose from. We've loaded up on this so that way that you have a selection. So get down here and see us. We've got the new inventory, and we've got the pre-owned inventory. We've got the biggest selection that we've had since opening day. So come down here and see us.
Back to these F-150s at 1.9%. This is America's #1 truck. So you're getting the best deal on the best truck.
Yes, hey, and we're the home of more for your trade. So why not get more money for the vehicle you're trading? Get locked in at a low APR right now. And all in all, just get a good deal.
Hey, it's all at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw and online at harryrobinson.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With the never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 50s. Tonight, mainly clear, overnight low near 40. Sunshine, our high in the low 70s on Saturday. And then Sunday, lots of sunshine, our high upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Here we go. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
For this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it.
If I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head.
Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
But they were one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Oh, we've made it to the golden hour. Feel really, really good about that. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Kick off your shoes, Matt Jones. Put them, have a seat on the couch. Kick your feet up. We can have a little fun now. Enough of all this crazy sports talk. Right? We've done enough of that
Whose
stuff.
bed have your boots been under?
Well, here's one that's actually a little funny for me. It is sports related, but I don't know if it makes very much sense. Pac-12 networks will continue to operate with 2 teams in the Pac-12, according to the new league commissioner. What do you show when you only have 2 league members? I know they're going to try. Oregon State and Washington State going to try to piece together the rest of the Pac-12, but they're going to have to show everything on campus. You know, Washington State tiddlywinks, Oregon State chess, over and over again. 5 different replays of the same football game. Whatever you can do. How many people are going to be watching a network made up of 2 schools that nobody wanted? I would say good luck with that. It'd be a tough assignment to be the general manager of that television station.
I was surprised they're dragging their feet a little bit instead of being able to, get the Mountain West. If that's what we're doing, let's go. You know, why are we Let's get us our 14 teams or whatever, however many they're taking from the Mountain West. But you got to think by next year they do that, right? Like it gets done before the season's over. Like why are they dragging their feet?
Well, that's a good question. They've got these scheduling alliances with the Mountain West for football, and I think it's the West Coast Conference for basketball. Not baseball, though. I guess the other sports will figure things out. But that's one of the more bizarre things about the wildness of college sports right now is that you legitimately have a 2-team league with their own network, and they're going to still keep the network on the air. I guess if you turn the thing off, you can't turn it back on when you do get 12 to 14 members again. Man, there'll be a lot more people watching True TV at 3 in the morning when it's not the NCAA basketball tournament than there will be watching the Pac-12 networks. And yes, oh, by the way, this is the month where we all realize once again, because we realize this once a year, that True TV does exist. Because without the NCAA basketball tournament, I don't think many people would ever have heard of this channel. But they show games, first, second round. I don't know if they show Sweet 16 or Elite 8 games, because at that point, you'll have your TNT and TBS and CBS. But yeah, True TV and Pac-12 networks, symbiotic relationship.
It's gonna be fun filling out a bracket, Phil. I guess. Well, I don't know if we can get all of our all of our guests or whatever, but yourself, the Wolf, and C bracket, maybe Fisherman Clay in a little thing here for a little taco or something.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. How about the world's biggest taco? Let's do it for an Oppo taco. You're into tacos. An Oppo taco is a home run hit the other way, right-handed batter to right field. Oppo taco. They even put a taco up a drawing or a painting of a taco on the video board whenever somebody hits a home run the other way.
The world's biggest frying pan and the world's biggest ball of yarn was on the movie Michael with John Travolta. When they're out there going cross country. So that's where you can make your taco in the world's biggest frying pan.
Where was the largest ball of yarn?
Was it not in Iowa or Ohio when they were driving down, the car breaks down, like he can make it, he makes it, he makes the car go out?
Because I always remember the song by Weird Al about the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota, but that's not what Michael was going to see. Yarn and twine are two different things. We have competing giant balls here.
The world's largest flapjack. I love that
goes along with the world's largest butter pat.
Yeah, the world's largest brown jug up there, the battle axe. Some of the names there in the north are pretty cool.
I think what was the one? Indiana and Purdue fight over the old oaken bucket.
I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty much like now fighting over last place in the Big Ten. Cody and Blue Balls on the McClarty Daniel hotline, perfect for the golden hour. What's up, Cody? How are you?
Uncle Phil, T-Bone, how you guys doing? I'm doing good, man.
Nephew Cody, let me throw you up in the air a couple of times here as I say that. What's up, man?
It always makes me laugh when you do that, Uncle Phil.
That's right. You just be careful. I won't tickle you, okay? I promise.
All right, I'm just like a little chihuahua, Phil. I'll pee everywhere if you ain't careful. But I just wanted to hang out with you guys for just a little bit. And let's see, I got to make a trip tomorrow. We're going to Ashdown for a little 9th grade softball tournament. You guys know where that is?
Yes, I know where Ashdown is located. Sounds like a great place for a softball tournament.
We'll probably be down there all day, but you guys were talking about some world records and stuff, and Falk, Arkansas has the largest Bigfoot that has ever been known to man.
The Falk monster, yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, they also made a movie about this, Uncle Phil and T-Bone. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's called The Legend of Boggy Creek, and it talks about that. Have you guys ever seen that?
No, I've heard of this movie. I've not seen that. Matt, have you seen The Legend of Boggy Creek?
I have not seen that one.
Sounds like something that should be coming out in October.
Oh, it's really great. It tells a really, really true story. It's true, and so that's where I'm going to be, and I'm thinking about maybe just drifting off there after the softball game and doing a little surveillance, a little ocular pat down there, see if I can see any Bigfoots and So when I come back in the next golden hour, I really hope to have some evidence for you guys.
Cody, what is a better chance of existing, the Falk monster or the ivory-billed woodpecker?
Oh, man, definitely the Falcon monster. I've never seen that woodpecker. Never. I've never seen that woodpecker, Bill.
I think it's a real thing. I've seen photos of it. They're probably real. They're 110% real photos.
There's 100 photos of Bigfoot, too, and you know what I mean? He's got to be real. He's out there, Phil. And come Friday, the next golden hour, Cody from Blue Ball is going to have a little bit of evidence. You guys have a great weekend, Uncle Phil. T-Bone, have a good one, buddy.
Can't wait to see this evidence. Yeah, I think the Falk monster ate he probably ate the ivory-billed woodpecker and used his bill as a toothpick. Because what else are you going to do with that bill? You can't eat it. It doesn't work. Jamie in Fayetteville wants the local establishments to give away Choco Tacos whenever someone hits an Oppo Taco. That's good. That's good. But that's a lot of phone calls for people to make, Jamie. Are you volunteering your time for this? Because there's a lot of establishments. Scott tells me True TV goes through at least the Sweet 16. Okay. And Chris apparently watches True TV because they play Impractical Jokers. So maybe that'd be enough to get you to watch it. I've never turned on True TV. You know, it's the same for me as the Hallmark Channel or I haven't put on C-SPAN in a minute. Maybe that's a way to get more people to watch C-SPAN. Put the NCAA tournament on it, too. One would be more interesting than the other.
The best was, and growing up around here, I don't know what y'all's if you're a Pitt Panther, they were okay. They had a couple years where they were all right, but Arkansas was pretty good in the 90s for basketball speaking. So whenever you'd go to class, whether it be 7th grade, 6th grade, whatever, if the Hogs were playing, you got to watch, whatever it was back then, you get to watch it in class.
See, now I remember having to listen. I had to listen to a Pitt radio broadcast when they played Georgia. I think Georgia had a guy named Laterio Green, and Pitt.
You had Jawan Blair. Did he play at? You had a big a few years ago that was good. He ended up playing for the Spurs for a little bit, but he was
Blair.
Yeah. He was all right.
Hey, your boy Steven Adams went to Pitt for a year.
Man,
Aquaman went to Pitt for 1 year.
I think he had a couple years where he was the enforcer. He was the baddest dude and nobody was messing with that dude.
Greg in Farmington next on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Hey, Greg, what's going on?
Hey, guys, I could speak. You guys were talking pro wrestling and stuff. I could speak to the legitimacy of the figure 4 leg lock.
It hurts. You could break somebody's legs in 3 different places.
I think me and my brothers were the reason they started putting disclaimers. Please do not try this stuff at home. I remember one afternoon, me and my brothers were wrestling in the living room, and I went, my brother Eddie, he had bad knees from football as it was. I went to put him in the figure 4, and when I went to hold myself up so it wouldn't put any pressure, my arm slipped. I fell back, and I heard a knee go crap.
That's the crap, I guess, describes exactly what what you're thinking at that moment. Yeah, and I'm sure the next thing you did was you grabbed a giant bell, climbed to the top of your couch while your brother was lying there in the middle of the floor, and you just kind of jumped on top of him and smashed the throat with the bell, right? Just like Rowdy Roddy Piper. It happened to him. Did it happen to him, or did it happen to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat? I can't remember all of these moments. A long time ago. But hey, I was there in the Civic Arena for a couple of steel cage matches. Hulk Hogan versus Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy. Saw the British Bulldogs take on the Hart Foundation. Yeah. Childhood was great then. All right, Neil Atkinson joins us from Bet Saracen in just a moment on Halftime.
Arthur Wagon, it's time. The Devo, it is over. Down goes Auburn. The #1 team in the country is defeated as they are rushing the floor at Budweiser Arena. They are rushing the floor at Budweiser Arena. Don't dance on that. Hey, don't do that. No.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Renewed focus.
Drives it deep to right field. That one's near the pole. It's out of here.
There's business to tend to.
We were all excited to play baseball.
And the Hawks always live up to their end of the bargain.
Tiger, here's the pitch. Brewer swings and misses. He struck him out. Tiptoes back a little farther and at the wall leaps. He robbed him of a home run.
This is Razorback Baseball. Follow every game on Arkansas's journey towards Omaha. ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
You want to get off the ride. You want to get off the ride. When you want to get off the ride, 'cause it cross my mind. Cross my mind. 789. Beat double time. Now cherry on the fruit stand. Right on the end. Cherry on the fruit stand.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Neil Atkinson's with us right now. He's from Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app, with college baseball season in full swing and March Madness coming up soon. Conference tournaments are coming up sooner than that. You got to have that Bet Saracen app on your phone. Download it on Google Play, the Apple App Store. You can always use any web browser, betsaracen.com. Neil, I would usually say happy Friday, but how about happy March to a sports bookmaker?
Let the madness begin. It's my favorite time of year. I don't think there is a sports tournament out there better than the NCAA tournament. Got a little business to take care of before we get there, but yep, I've already got my blank brackets ready and ready to fill them out and see if I can get past the first round without it being busted this year.
Well, you'll have a line on every single game in men's college basketball and women's college basketball this weekend. Get some great games tomorrow. Of course, Alabama and Tennessee is right at the top of the list. The Arkansas-Kentucky game is sort of like a warm-up since it's much earlier.
Yeah.
Bet Saracen's line minus 15.5 for Kentucky, and it's already gone further to Kentucky from when the line opened this morning.
Yeah, it really did. I try to be the first to put out an Arkansas line. And usually those lines a lot of times don't come out until 6 o'clock or even 10 o'clock on Friday night. But I try to push mine out basically because our bettors demand it. And I hung 14.5 on it when we ran our numbers, and the players just bet it automatically up 15.5. So it'll be interesting to see what the consensus comes out later on this afternoon, if it's about where we put it. But, when we put out an early line, that may be an opportunity if I mess up, because I may not be as good as the big data providers. But knowing the team and following the team a little bit closer, most of the time our lines are a little bit better and a little bit closer to the outcome. So it's just fun. It's fun competing against the big mega computers that do all of this work.
Another game tomorrow that basketball fans will have their eyes on, not just in Arkansas but across the country, are the Lakers and the Nuggets, because LeBron is only 9 points away from hitting 40,000 for his career. And I guess you can figure out how you want to put money on how he scores it, and it's right there on the app, right?
Yeah, that market, we're having a lot of fun with it, and a lot of people are grasping onto it. We've got a really, really robust NBA business on Bet Saracen. So, and 40,000 is one heck of a milestone. I mean, he's been playing for 21 years, and now we had a market out earlier. What game would it be that he would cross that milestone? And the odds-on favorite was tomorrow night's game, March 2nd versus the Nuggets at home, to do it. And with being only 9 away, it's almost a sure thing. And he's been hot the last 2 games. I mean, look at Wednesday night. I think he overcome the largest fourth quarter deficit in his career of 21 points, and he scored, I think, 19 of them to get him that win. And then last night, I think he scored 31 in overtime against the Wizards. So he's been on a hot streak. So the odds are, will it be a 2-point field goal, minus 160? Will it be a 3-point shot at plus 260? Or will it be a free throw? And that one's the best odds on it at plus 400. Hey, do they let him dunk it? Does he just lay up a three? Or does somebody want to prevent him and not get it and foul him and he gets it that way? Who knows? It's going to be exciting to watch. And it's going to be one of those historical moments in sports that a lot of people want to watch live and be a part of.
There's a lot of bat and ball sports today on the Hill. You got softball at 3 o'clock against Southeast Missouri. They play Florida Atlantic at 5:30 in the Woo Pig Classic. I'm watching Arkansas baseball right now, have their batting practice before taking on Murray State in the first of 3. So got the bat and ball sports as well up here on the Hill on Bet Saracen.
Yep, and we've got those lines up for both softball and for baseball. Check them out. And, is the Murray State pitcher Pennington still slated to go for Murray State?
No, it looks like they're using him out of the bullpen this weekend, Neil. They're going to be starting a guy named Cade Vernon, who is usually their Saturday starter, but he gets the ball today. Yeah, Pennington threw 7 scoreless innings last weekend, and Vernon has an ERA that's over 6.50. So I saw that Arkansas is favored minus 4.5. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Hagen Smith is on the mound for sure.
Oh yeah, and I mean his outing last week was phenomenal to watch and what we expected because, I think he started the first game of the season, was only in one inning, and that was a crazy day. I think you called with the wind and all of that. So that's more of what I think the fan base is expecting out of him, and it's going to be fun to watch him this year. These early games before we start conference play are really, really tough for us to handicap because you've got the mercy rule that can come into play, and just the level of competition in the SEC from top to bottom is phenomenal, and it should be an exciting conference season. I just wish some of the regular season matchups could happen, but we've only got so many games that we can play in college baseball.
Hey, when it comes to baseball, and you don't see this in Major League Baseball because they'll announce starting rotations days ahead of time. In college, you'll always have an announced pitcher for Friday, usually for Saturday, and sometimes on Sunday it's a to be announced until earlier that morning. How do you handle handicapping a baseball game where you don't know who the starting pitcher is for one of the teams?
One is we have to use historical data and modeling. And as the season goes on, of course, we get better. That's why early on the season, you can really take advantage of it. It's like versus Grambling. I think the run line was 4.5, and of course we know, the home run derby and the batting practice that one turned out to be. So those are really, really tough for us to handicap, and especially on the run line. But there are a lot of opportunities at this level of play. Now, where it makes it really, really tough is when we're doing our props, for the games because, we got to do those the day of and get those turned around, get them priced and get them up and get whatever line that we're going to hang on it updated based on the performance and if there's any injuries and all that. So it takes us listening to post-game conferences, press conferences, and reading up the literature and all of that to have the indication to be able to price that line and put out a bettable line that we have. So it's tricky, but it's fun. And like I said, if you think we make a mistake, you can always bet the other way or and take advantage of that. And that's the fun part of sports betting, because especially in baseball, because it's so analytical and there's so many stats surrounding all of the plays.
Well, at this point of the year, people are looking ahead and starting to make their list for who they want on their fantasy baseball teams and all of that. You can always you got great preseason prop bets here, and I can't even believe you guys have a prop bet involving the Oakland Athletics. I mean, where would that be? The team to lose every game they play this year?
Not quite, but in the ballpark there, as we should say. Yeah, the Oakland A's are actually a favorite to win a preseason prop bet. The team with the longest regular season losing streak. So, we all know what's going on with the A's with their move to Vegas. And, if you look at the stands there last year on an Oakland game, there were not very many people there. And we took it on the shorts a lot last year because we had one player that did very, very well. All he did was bet whoever was playing the Oakland A's and went on one heck of a run on us last year. I'm going to keep my eye on that one this year. But there's some other fun ones out there, too. Is any team going to start the season 5-0 or 10-0? Which team will be the first to 10 wins? And what's the last team to lose a regular season game? Those are a lot of fun because you don't have to wait for the whole season to be over before we grade it. Those will be graded after those milestones are hit. So baseball futures, check them out. Those are just the oddball ones that we put up. We've got all the traditional ones that you can bet, divisions, pitchers, and just about any stat. It's almost like a Super Bowl prop menu preseason for baseball. And with our Bet Swap marketplace, if you're able to pick up one at a real good price later on in the season, even this fall, you may be able to sell it and get a guaranteed cash on your investment.
Well, and you guys, do you have the prop bets available for preseason for college football right now too?
There are a few out there. Let me check it real quick. Let's see here. The crazy thing is I'm used to football being on the top of the menu for most of the year, but we kind of knock it down a little bit with baseball and basketball. But yeah, we've got the Division I FBS postseason out. There's a lot of bets out there on who's just going to make the 12-team playoff. So we've got those odds up right now. We got a lot of NFL props up, and of course, we already got some of the NFL draft props up. Now, the first overall pick, that's not a very competitive market. But the second and third, there's some speculation that can go in there. also. So we've got all of those markets coming up at the draft. So you're almost talking about football every month of the year, it seems like now with all that's going on.
Neil, we're going to run. Appreciate you hopping on. Thank you so much, and we'll do it again next week, okay?
All righty. Everybody bet with your head and not over it. And if you don't have the Bet Saracen app, get it downloaded. March Madness and the tournaments will be here before you know it. And you want to get those bets in.
It's Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen. I got to run down to the field. Arkansas BP is complete. Matt Jones and the Wolf will take you the rest of the way in the home stretch of halftime. And I'll see you guys 2:30 for the start of today's Dugout Show. Arkansas Murray State at 3 o'clock. Stay with halftime. They will be right back.
At Red River Dodge, not only do we have new vehicles, but we also have top quality pre-owned, all the way from your big rig trucks to your luxury class SUVs. Are you needing to trade in a used vehicle? That's no problem. Here at Red River Dodge, we give top dollar for your trade-in. Whatever it is you're needing, here at Red River Dodge, we have it. Give us a call today at 501-362-5831 or visit us on the web at redriverdodge.com. And don't forget, folks, we deliver.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker-Neuson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker-Neuson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Who cares about Blue Bloods when you believe Razorback Red?
We're baby to win.
Thurman. Play to win. Play for each other. Play for Arkansas. It's time for the next era. Let's make it Razorback Red.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
I am a little superstitious, but that's usually once the season gets going and maybe you're on a little bit of a streak or something. You don't want to change too many things that you're doing.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
A grand slam, and the Hawks have the lead.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I can't wait the world that only wants to sleep, and I can't change a heart that doesn't want to be. Boys with me that I don't fit, walking down the street, learning lines to protect myself. The story is incomplete. Well, it's over when it's over. I'm not sober. I don't care. I like the way I dance when I'm.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yes, sir. Back halftime. Myself, the Wolf here, running the show today. Phil Elson getting some sound with DBH. The Razorback baseball team. What time is first pitch today?
I think it's 3.
3 o'clock.
The first pitch at 3.
Yeah, man, what a impressive performance they had down in Arlington, going 2-1. The pitching performance was dominant, and then come back, play Grambling, able to get the bats going on, and should be a good one. And now, is this a 3-game series, or how many games are they going to play?
3 games. 3 games. I think they're all afternoon games, so I mean, pretty convenient for most people. Get there, be home in time for dinner or whatever.
Oh, man, the weather's going to be perfect. You got the NFL Combine going on as well. Got some numbers on Trajan Jeffcoat, who was an Arkansas Razorback this past year. He ran a 4.6940, which isn't bad. Had a 31.5 vert, 10-foot broad jump, 21 reps on the bench press. He's a guy that he should be in camp somewhere. And so that's pretty good, but the combine's just getting going on. Really interested to see how these offensive linemen do, but really how McLaughlin does. I think he has besides Cam Little, special teams guy, but as far as football players, I think McLaughlin has the highest draft grade on the Razorbacks this year.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look just throughout the games this season and even last season, I mean, he was consistent.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty much a lockdown. You throw him on your best guy, he's shutting it down. It wouldn't surprise me if he is on a roster for week 1. But I mean, if you can have him at a maybe a third cornerback on the roster, I mean, I think you're pretty happy with that. And if you're an NFL draft guy, you're probably looking maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th round ish maybe. And I mean, that's that. I'm thinking it's a steal because he was elite last year. One of the bright spots of the last year.
No, I like his game. I think it translates. His thing would be how healthy is he, and at the combine, it's pretty cool because you'll have all the cornerbacks there. You can kind of get to be around everybody. You get to look everybody in the eye. You get to do your meetings, and then you get to go out there and compete. And I know all these NFL coaches, they're big on competition. They're big on competing, whatever it is you're doing. And it is, and I get it, with, Caleb Williams saying he's not going to throw. It's understandable. But what the combine does is it helps you kind of get slotted if you're going to be a 3rd round pick, if you're going to be a 4th round pick. Like if McLaughlin goes out there, Wolf, if he goes out there and runs a 4.47, he's 100% going to get drafted. He goes out there and runs a 4.63, then like what you were talking about, maybe a free agent deal. So it does matter. The combine does matter, and it's a good chance to get numbers on these kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's a chance to prove yourself. I mean, McLaughlin, like you said, was kind of up and down. He was playing some games games he wasn't. But if they can see that, I mean, his numbers, if his numbers pop off the charts, like, I mean, why would you not take a chance on him?
Try to find some way to stand out.
Yeah, why would you not take a chance on a guy like that who played at a high level at everywhere? I mean, he played at a high level at LSU, played at a high level at Arkansas for 2 years. I mean, why not?
Going to be interesting to see these Michigan kids as well. I want to see how they do. Hey, I've been keeping. I kind of get into the NBA a little bit, Wolf. Now that after the All-Star break and seeding starts getting place a little bit. What are your thoughts? Have you seen, like, with LeBron James? I know he's gonna get this 40,000 Saturday against Denver. But he still has this ability to put the team on his back for a half for a game. I don't know, in a 7-game series. Can he do it 4 times? Can he put the cape on? He's still got to get some help. Do you think the Lakers can get in the playoffs and make a push this year?
I think that they'll probably be slotted in the play-in, which sucks. You want to see LeBron at the highest level, but I don't know about if he's. I mean, he's a great player. He's what, regardless of what you say, he's one of the 2 best players of all time. But I think he's in the part of his career where I don't know if he can be the best player on a championship-winning team anymore. I mean, he's getting old. He doesn't have that same motor that he had when he was with the Cavs and the Heat. And the problem is with him being a player like that, he has to be your best player on the team. He has to be your number 1 guy. I don't think he'll ever be able to take a backseat role because he's LeBron James. But I don't think he's at the point in his career where he can just take a team on a run and make the finals or even make the conference finals. I mean, they did it last year, but I don't see that happening again. The pieces around him on this team is just I feel bad because the minutes when he's off the floor is drastically different than when he's on the floor.
Yeah, they need some help. Well, and on the other side of it, you had San Antonio Spurs play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Got a couple Razorbacks playing at OKC, but you got this matchup of Chet Holmgren versus Victor Wembanyama, and they didn't disappoint. Chet with 23, 8 of 12, and then Wemby 5 of 7 from the 3-point line. I didn't know he had that in his game. If I was asking you, Wolf, which one of these guys, if you had to buy stock in to build your team around for the next decade, Chet or Wemby, who you taking?
I love Chet. I love Chet a lot. I like his game. I think he's going to be one of the top 5 bigs in the league for years to come. But how can you not watch that game last night and say you don't want stock in Victor Wembanyama? I mean, he's 7'5", 7'4", whatever he's taller than what he's listed at, I guarantee. And he can stretch the floor. He can rebound over everybody. I mean, when you have guys like that you've never seen before in the league, there's never been a player like this. I don't see how you don't take stock in this dude. I mean, he has the potential to be the best player in the league for a long time, and this is the worst we'll see him in his career. Like this is the absolute worst he'll be. Like he's just gonna get better, and right now he's perennial top 30 guy potential. I mean, in my opinion, I think he should have been an all-star. So it's crazy. You see a guy like this on the floor, you don't. It's just we've never ever seen anything like this, and now he's just doing all this stuff that people thought was impossible.
Yeah, I'd like to see the All-Star game bring back that rookie sophomores game. No question about it. Showcase the young talent. You know, where was Brandon Miller at the All-Star festivities? Where, you know, Wemby, you're talking about Scoot Henderson out in Portland. Is Shea, is this his second year? I think he made the big it might be more than 2 for him, but he made the big jump this year. But I'd love to see that rookie sophomore games to see these younger cats get to go at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the big guys, the big names are slowly just going to start feeding out of the league. I mean, you'll look at LeBron; he's almost in his 40s. Curry's getting up there.
It's a changing of the guard.
Yeah,
There's new guys coming up, and it's who is it going to be? It's got a very Euro flair to it as well, Wolf. If I said the Greek Freak, the Joker, Luka, and Wemby, I'm trying to think. Shea's from Canada, so he's not American, but those 5 right there, that's 5 guys not from the U.S. And they're kind of the face of the NBA right now.
Yeah, I mean, even Joel Embiid. I mean, he's
that's
from,
right.
Cameroon. I mean, you got to be happy at where the league's going right now. You got to be thankful that you have these new faces coming in here and making a name for themselves. I mean, even Anthony Edwards, guys like that. These guys that you're watching right now are the new faces of the league after LeBron and Curry and those guys, Kevin Durant, all those guys leave. You're going to see Wemby and all these guys just get more publicity, more name for themselves.
We get to claim Joel because I think he's on the short list for Paris.
Yeah.
So and how cool is that going to be? You're going to get to see the stars come out. LeBron will be on the team. Anthony Davis, Steph Curry. It's their last go out there in Paris. And but that being said, man, you think back to the '92 Dream Team and just the global marketing of NBA basketball, because I can't remember a time when it was so Euro dominated, where I mean there really is some first class top Europeans. I remember when Tony Kukoc was considered the best Euro in the league, and he wasn't a top 30 player in the league. And then you get guys like Ricky Rubio, the sustainability that he was able to have. Tony Parker now, the Spurs were kind of the first, and they got Wemby there, but they were some of the first. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, those guys could go.
Yeah, and I mean, the U.S. team went down to that FIBA tournament. I don't remember where it was, but I think they didn't even end up placing top 3. And all these U.S. Olympians saw them not place. And they took that personal. I mean, you saw LeBron obviously say he's playing, Curry's playing, Durant is playing, Embiid once on the U.S. team. I mean, I love all the European guys in the league now, but there's no chance anyone comes anywhere close to what this U.S. team is going to look like. I mean,
Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, two other guys, like Kawhi Leonard.
You'll have Kawhi Leonard coming off your bench. Like that's unbelievable. And I hate to say this because I know this is going to get into a lot of people that are older than me, but there's no chance that this team right here would not beat the Dream Team back in the day. There's too much scoring, too much natural ability for this. This could be the best Olympic team ever.
Well, that's some mighty some mighty words. I'd have to disagree with you with the '92 Dream Team.
I mean, this is
MJ was in his prime.
That's also true.
It's Larry Bird was towards his end, but you had Leitner made that team over Shaq. A lot of people were talking about how Shaq could have made that team. The Admiral, David Robinson, Karl Malone. Oh my goodness, that was. That'd be a fun game to watch if they could play.
Yeah, and everybody in their prime, that'd be a really fun game. Yeah, I agree.
Well, if you want to get in with us today, like I said, Phil Elson, he's getting ready to call the baseball game, Baseball Hogs, first pitch here in about an hour and 15 minutes. Please call us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. That's 877-377-6963. Call us, text us. Thanks for listening. Stay safe out there. We'll be back to wrap this up right after this.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Elect Judge Sam Terry to Fort Smith District Court on March 5th. Trusted, experienced, and fair, Terry is a former prosecutor and experienced attorney. Judge Terry has been appointed an Arkansas Supreme Court Special Associate Justice and shows his community commitment through numerous volunteer efforts. Vote Judge Sam Terry for Fort Smith District Court Judge on March 5th. The right experience and the right integrity. Early voting begins February 20th. Paid for by the Committee to Elect Sam Terry.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our number one volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the number one soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey and Hole Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
5 seconds to go. Matt, right side. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Close with the dunk at the buzzer. It goes and Arkansas wins. It goes and Arkansas wins. Qualls with a two-hand finish. Arkansas wins the ball game.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
And the sign said, long-haired, freaky people need not apply. So I tucked my hair up under my hat and I went in to ask him why. He said, you look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you do. So I took off my hat and said, imagine that. Me working for you. Whoa, sign, blocking out your scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the sign?
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Oh my goodness, we made it to the end of another beautiful work week. This is the final segment in the golden hour coming up here on Halftime. Myself, the Wolf on the board today, Bill Elson, getting ready. First pitch for this Razorback baseball team here at 3:00. Speaking of basketball, Hogs got a big one. It's a big weekend in the SEC. Tennessee finishes tough. Three teams in the top 25. They're playing for a 1 seed. Arkansas trying to play spoiler. Wolf, what is Arkansas? What's one thing Arkansas needs to do if they want a chance to beat Kentucky and Lexington on Saturday?
They got to score. Kentucky's going to put up a lot of points regardless of who they play. Arkansas actually did a pretty good job if you think about it last game. It was like a 64-57 type game. Yeah, when we had them in Bud Walton, they did a pretty good job. But they're getting Rob Dillingham back for this game, arguably their most dynamic scorer. There's not really a chance to stop them, in my opinion. You got them in Rupp too, so that doesn't really help you at all. So you're gonna have to get a big game from someone like Battle or Mark or someone like that, or you could just go ahead and check this one off as a loss.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mitchell get some more minutes. I think our bigs, if we're you're right, if we're going to win this game, you got to score more points. One thing I think we're going to have to do to give ourselves a chance is we're going to have to rebound. Our bigs are going to have to play big against Kentucky. They're going to have athletes everywhere. Their guards are going to be athletic. Their bigs are going to be athletic. So one of the things, transition defense and rebounding, we need to put a premium on that, and maybe that can keep it close.
Yeah, their guards they're gonna get out and go. You got to get back on defense, man.
Got to pick up ball.
Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham, and then DJ Wagner, who's like a first round draft pick, who's maybe the third best guard on their team, or fourth best maybe. You got to also think about Reeves as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're just loaded everywhere. They're getting back another big man as well, from what it sounded like on the Morning Rush. I gotta see some like a big performance from somebody, or I'd get a little nervous.
All right, we got a couple more games in the SEC going on Saturday, but we'll talk about two of them here real quick. The two top 25 matchups. Now you got number 24 Florida going on the road to South Carolina. You think the home team holds serve on this one?
I've been saying this all year. I don't think South Carolina is that great.
You think they've been found out?
I think they're a little overrated. But shout out to them though. They played a lot better than what people thought they would. But I think Florida has too much talent, too much athleticism. They can score as well. I'll take Florida on the road against South Carolina.
And then the big one, the granddaddy of them all this Saturday, and now they played earlier this year in Knoxville. Tennessee was able to hold them off in Knoxville, but now you're going to Tuscaloosa, take on the Crimson Tide at home. I like Tennessee on a neutral side. I like them at home, but I think I like Alabama. Because they got him at home. What do you think? Who get this was for first place in the SEC?
I think this game is going to be a absolute barn burner. I think this game is. Both teams can really score it. And it's in a smaller arena, so the crowd's going to be pretty loud. I'm going to go with Tennessee though. I think this is the first time you'll catch me saying this about a Rick Barnes coach team, but I legitimately think that this team can make it to the Final Four just because of Dalton Knecht. He is so good. He should be the Namath Player of the Year in my opinion, but they'll give it to Zach Edey anyways. But I got Tennessee. He's been unbelievable throughout the whole SEC season and throughout the whole season.
Yeah, he's been a pleasant surprise. Now Alabama, you think about it, they're three of their last 5 games, they've scored 100 or more points, and the least amount they scored was 95. So yeah, they're going to put it up. They're going to put it up. All right, that was fun, Wolf. Great job, listeners. Everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your participation as well, and I hope everybody out there has a wonderful weekend. Let's go Hogs. Woo Pig Suey. See you around.